the live stream. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Joint Standing Committee on Labor and Housing. My name is Greg Hickman. I represent Senate District 14, 11 towns in Southern Kennebec County, including my hometown of Winthrop. Today is Friday. We will have a carnival of a day. We will begin with several work sessions. This afternoon, we will have a public hearing at 1 o'clock. And when that is over, we will go back into work sessions at 2 o'clock, where we will have a long work session on LD 1022. This morning, I intend to begin with the unemployment bills we have in our possession. So we'll start with 1564 and 1571 together, then we'll go to 1509. Then we will take up LD 677. And then we will take up LD 787. And from there, it will be a carnival of all of the bills that we will either carry over or kill. And that will be the plan for the morning. But before we start our agenda, I will begin with committee introductions, starting with today, Representative Bradstreet.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning. I'm Representative Dick Bradstreet from House District 80, and that's comprised of my hometown of Vassalboro, Windsor, Somerville, and part of Augusta.
And Representative Drinkwater.
Good morning, Representative Gary Drinkwater, District 121.
Senator Miramont.
Good morning, Dave Miramont, Senate District 12, which is Knox County. County seat is Rockland.
Representative Cuddy.
Good morning. My name is Scott Cuddy. I represent House District 98. That's Winterport, Frankfort, Searsport, and Swanville. I live in Winterport. I'm attending two work sessions this morning, so I may seem distracted, but that is only because I am in fact distracted.
Representative Rader.
Good morning. My name is Amy Rader. I represent House District 125, which is a portion of Bangor. I will have to duck out at 11, but I should be back very quickly. Thank you.
Representative Warren.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sophie Warren. I represent Scarborough Coastal District 29. I'm grateful to be here, maybe a little bit in and out. Thank you.
Senator Guerin. You are on mute, Senator.
Hi, good morning. I represent Senate District 10 in Southern Penobscot County, having a bit of an internet problem here today, so trying to get switched to my computer from my phone, but it's going to get worked out, I'm sure.
And Chairman Sylvester. I guess he is walking around. We also have with us today our awesome analyst, Stephen Langland, who will be very busy with us today. And on her final day doing her great work, our committee clerk, Alyssa Thompson. So with that, I am going to open the work sessions on LD 1564, an act to amend the laws governing unemployment compensation, and LD 1571, an act to strengthen the unemployment insurance system to better serve Meg workers. We have already had a work session. No, we did not have a work session on these. We kept just postponing it. So with that, I will allow Mr. Langley to begin.
I can go through the bill analyses for each if you'd like, and then we can hear from the sponsor, or we can hear from the sponsor first. It's totally.
Why don't we hear from the sponsor first on these bills? I do see Senator Vitelli in the audience. If she could turn on her video, and I thought I saw Speaker Fecto as well. If he is here, if the Speaker of the House is here, please turn on your video, which will bring you up to the top of my screen. And if not, that's fine as well. Senator Vitelli, good morning.
Good morning, Senator, and good morning, members of the esteemed Committee on Labor and Housing. I'm pleased to be with you this morning. These two bills, 1564 and 1571, had many parallel features to them, and they were both aimed at trying to resolve some of the issues with our unemployment insurance system that came into stark view during this pandemic period. I'm here today to be pleased to sort of let you know that I think a resolution is before us, before you, that will combine these two bills and leave one of them moving forward that addresses the most significant issues that the two bills contain. So I'm happy to be here as a resource as you go further with your discussion on this and get into the details that you may want to hear from your analyst so that he can educate you on what was in one bill versus the other. But I think the idea that I understand is that the 1571 bill will cease to exist and that an amendment to 1564 is available for your consideration to move forward with. So I'm happy to go into details, but that's just sort of the big picture of what I think is before you. And I will be here as a resource.
Thank you, Senator. I see Speaker Fecto has also joined us. Would you like to make a few remarks before we move into voting these bills, looking at the amendment that you guys have worked out, sir?
Thank you, Senator Hickman, Chairman Hickman, and members of the committee. I really appreciate your time this morning and your patience with us as we worked on finding a way forward to get an agreement on the components that were in both bills in some cases and components that were not in both bills in some cases. Really appreciate Senator Vitelli and her work with me on finding a way forward on these two bills. Really appreciate her willingness to take some of the work that we had done on my bill and incorporate that into her bill. I think we landed in a pretty good place, and I really appreciate the committee's consideration of the proposed amendment. And I'm happy to answer any questions as they come up. Otherwise, I'll be here on standby.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does anyone have any questions for the two bill sponsors at this time? Seeing none, Mr. Lang.
Mr. Chair, I do. I just had a quick question. I can't get my hand up for some reason.
Okay, Chairman Sylvester.
Thank you.
Sir.
I am Representative Mike Sylvester. I represent District 39, a part of Portland. So, Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to clarify that both of the bill sponsors, the Department of Labor, the Chief Executive's Office, everybody is putting this amendment forward together in order to try to consolidate into one bill. And everybody seems fairly happy about that.
Yes.
Very good.
Excellent. Representative Morris has joined us. Would you care to introduce yourself, sir? Good morning.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am State Representative Joshua Morris. I represent House District 75, which is Turner, Leeds, and Livermore.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Representative Bradstreet.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd just like to know if the business community if they were included in the discussions and to what extent.
And who was that a question for? Either or both bill sponsors, sir?
Correct, Mr. Chair. Either one.
Telly, Speaker Fecto, would you care to answer Representative Bradstreet's question?
Thank you, Representative Bradstreet. Very, very good question. So we took out a lot of the components of the bill that the business community had concerns about. Those issues in the proposed amendment are sort of parked for a stakeholder group. So we took out the components that the business community was concerned about. For example, there was I think there was questions about using the trust fund as a way of funding some of the components of this bill. Like those things have been removed. So the real crux of the bill are the components that I don't think we heard much about from the business side, and those issues have been parked so that we can try to convene. I think the commissioner intends to convene a stakeholder group to see if we can find common ground, including on whether or not there's a need for navigators on the business side. That was as you may have saw that in a initial version of an amendment that I put forward on my bill. And I think over the summer, we'll get an understanding of whether or not the business community feels having navigators would be helpful to them as well, which if the answer is yes, I look forward to bringing back a bill to work on that, because I think I have heard from some folks in the business community that think it would be helpful to have navigators on the business side as well. So hope that helps.
Yes, thank you. So I guess going forward, there is a plan for stakeholders get together. So appreciate that, Mr. Speaker.
I would also ask if Commissioner Fortman would like to answer that question as well. I see that she is here. Would like to comment on that question. Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning. And thank you, Laura Fortman, Commissioner of the Department of Labor. It's a pleasure to join the committee. We, as the speaker said, went through the bill carefully. There was an attempt to listen to all of the concerns that were raised at the public hearing. The stakeholder group is designed to bring together the business community and get their input as we move forward.
Thank you, Commissioner. Chair recognizes Senator Guerin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In switching over to my computer, I missed a little bit. Is the amendment that we would have a stakeholders group? Is that?
So in the chat, our analyst has put in both the proposed amendment and the proposed amendment summary that has been worked out by the mutual parties, the stakeholders, in fact. So we will now turn to Mr. Langland to walk us through the final amendment and the summary so that we all know what we're talking about exactly. Is that okay?
Yeah, thank you.
All righty. The floor is yours, Mr. Langland.
Okay, 1 second. Let me see. So I'm going to share my screen with you. I should say, as sort of a disclaimer, that I wasn't involved in the discussions or the drafting. So to the extent that I misconstrue anything, that's on me. And certainly there are folks here that can sort of set the ship straight. So my understanding is, as was discussed, there are certain provisions from LD 1571 that are sort of being adopted into LD 1564. The original provisions in LD 1564 are relatively stationary, with the exception of this chart, which says that the amendment sort of makes the partial unemployment benefit from $5 to $100, and then it's adjusted annually beginning, I think, in June of 2022, and then annually thereafter. So that's sort of what we're used to seeing in this committee in terms of how the minimum wage is sort of indexed to inflation. So that's one provision. So under the reemployment services, the current law waives the required participation in reemployment services and eligibility assessment for anyone who has participated in the last 5 years. And the amendment in section 21 repeals this statutory exemption. And there is sort of an explanation on why that is on the screen. The bill also expands coverage in that there's going to be an additional on and off trigger for the 13-week extended benefit and 7-week high unemployment benefit, linked only to claims volume. So that's in current law. So my understanding is the amendment will include Maine's total unemployment rate in the determination of program effective dates, as opposed to only determining based on claims. And as it notes in the chart, 11 other states have this in their law. In terms of the states closest to us, that's New Hampshire, Vermont, Rhode Island, Connecticut, and New Jersey. So currently, the dependency allowance is $10 a week for each dependent child, up to 50% of the weekly benefit amount, which has been the same since the statute was enacted in 1989. The proposed amendment increases to $25 a week for each dependent child, up to 75% of the weekly benefit amount. It removes the requirement that the dependent be wholly or mainly supported by the individual receiving benefits, although only one individual may receive dependency allowance for any week for which a claim is filed. So, and I see that Representative Cuddy has a question, so maybe it makes sense to stop and sort of address that at this point before we go any further.
That is correct. Chair recognizes Representative Cuddy. Thank you, Mr. Langland.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wasn't sure if we wanted to wait till the end, but I did and I don't know if this is for you, Mr. Langland, or for one of the sponsors that are here, but when it says up to 75% of the weekly benefit amount, does that mean that the $25 a week benefit can only be the value of up to 75% of the weekly benefit amount?
Definitely a question for someone who's not me.
I thought that might be the case.
Let's see. I'm looking at my participant list to see if I see a hand up. Who would like to answer the question from Representative Cuddy? Commissioner Fortman or?
I would defer to Director Boyette to answer the technical questions about the bill.
Great, thank you. I do see that Director Boyette is here, and if you could please turn on your video and introduce yourself.
Thank you. I couldn't find the hand up button. So, my name is Laura Boyette. I'm the director of the Bureau of Unemployment Compensation at the Maine Department of Labor. And yes, Representative Cuddy, that is what it means. Currently, the $10 dependency allowances can only go up per dependent up to 50% of someone's weekly benefit amount. We're recommending that that be increased to 75% and that the the allowance per child or dependent would be $25. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I appreciate the explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Are there any other questions for Ms. Boyette, Director, up until this point from the analysis? Great. Mr. Langland, please continue.
Sure. So in current law, temporary disqualifications only for a voluntary quit is limited to domestic violence, moving with a spouse, or illness or disability that cannot be accommodated by an employer. Once the situation is addressed, individual could become eligible for weekly benefits. The employer's experience rating is not charged. So the bill adds an exemption for people who suddenly lose child or elder care or transportation, creating an emergency that the employer cannot accommodate, which results in the loss of one's job. The proposal would waive the normal full disqualification for someone who must quit their job because of one of these situations. Once the individual resolves the issue and is able to work and actively seek work, they could begin collecting benefits after first checking with their former employer to see if there was work available. The employer's unemployment experience rate would not be charged. So the next description deals with streamlining program operations within UI. So in terms of efficiency of fact-finding and adjudication, so the law as it currently stands now requires an individual to personally appear before an adjudicator. This historically has been done in person and shifted to live phone interviews in the mid-1990s. So the proposed amendment broadens the requirement for an individual to personally participate in a fact-finding session to reflect how the process has worked for 23 years. Allow broader means of participation in addition to telephone with online interactions, such as email and written statement forms. It would improve the efficiency of process as decisions could be made on written statements provided by the claimant. Calls would be made if the adjudicator had questions or needed more information. So there are many sections in the law right now as it stands that grant rulemaking authority to the Unemployment Insurance Commission. And there are several proposed sections in the amendment that change that authority from the UIC to the Commissioner of Labor. And this would make it consistent with most other rules, allowing the commissioner that's responsible for program operations to administer the rules. The next piece is overpayment waivers. So currently the authority given to the UIC to grant waivers of benefit overpayments, this would grant that authority instead of to the UIC to the Commissioner of Labor or the Commissioner's designee. This is consistent with other states in which the ability to waive overpayments is granted to the program administrator. So the next piece is removing interest accrual on non-fraud overpayment recovery. So currently interest begins accruing on non-fraud benefit overpayment balances that remain unpaid after a period of 1 year. Interest accrues at the rate of 1% per month until the debt is fully repaid. The amendment eliminates interest accrual under section 1051 subsection 9 for overpayment debt that did not result from fraud. However, interest continues to apply to benefit overpayments resulting from misrepresentation and fraud. So the next few pieces don't have any provisions in current law, but this amendment proposes enacting them. So in terms of recipiency, the amendment would require the department to provide an estimated impact of a proposed legislation on the unemployment insurance recipiency rate that's currently not in statute, but is in the amendment. It also requires the department to complete an analysis of the unemployment recipiency rate, identifying contributing factors and recommending actions for improvement. And the report has to be submitted to this committee by February 1st of next year. So the other piece that is in this amendment is the commissioner will convene a working group to review and make recommendations to improve methods of connecting employers and unemployed workers, efficiency and effectiveness of the work share program, and the effectiveness of provisions under section 1044. It will also consider methods to facilitate application for and increase access to unemployment benefits, simplify employer reporting requirements, and identify possible clarifications or modifications needed around submission of partial unemployment claim forms. And it will also consider any software or technology issues contributing to delays, claims processing issues, paperwork burden to business that may be resolved through technological means, or ways to promote improved claimant or employer user experience and interface with the unemployment system. And that stakeholder group has to submit a report and recommendations to this committee by January 15th of next year. The next piece is sort of what was proposed in LD 1571, and that is the Peer Workforce Navigator project. So initially, it was established as a program, but this amendment turns it into a 2-year pilot project. And the Peer Workforce Navigator pilot project will promote access to reemployment services, assist unemployed and underemployed individuals with access resources to meet their basic needs during the reemployment process, educating workers about the ability to obtain partial unemployment benefits, raising awareness of the unemployment program in underserved populations, identify systematic obstacles to receiving benefits or to becoming reemployed. And the proposal also renames Chapter 26A and creates 2 subchapters within it in order to implement this pilot program. So that is the end of the sort of the changes between 1564 as drafted, as well as what's proposed in the amendment today. And I should also note that I believe the bill says, specifically with regard to the pilot project, so you'll recall that initially it was supposed to be funded through the UI fund. There is a provision within the pilot project that says the department shall seek non-general fund and non-unemployment sources of revenue for the pilot project.
And thank you, Mr. Langland, for walking us through the summary of the amendment. Again, for the committee and for the public, the text of the amendment is in the chat function. It's the first link PDF file that Mr. Langland gave to us this morning. So if you'd like to reference that with any questions based upon what we've seen in the summary from the analysts, please do so. The chair recognizes Senator Karen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Langland, would you be able to send your summary out to the business lobbyists, please?
I already sent the amendment out. I can send the chart that I just read from out as well to the IP list. Sure.
That would be helpful where the amendment is like 20 pages.
Chair recognizes Representative Warren.
Thank you. I'm wondering if there's anyone here who can explain where the money is coming from, if not from those sources.
Director Boyette, are you able to answer Representative Warren's question?
Yeah, yes. We're basically going to be looking at federal workforce funds for those, as we have for other types of programs, like peer support. It has not been, it's being explored at this point, but that's the source that we would be looking at, federal workforce funds.
Representative Warren, follow
up? Probably to someone else, maybe. I don't know if there is someone here who could explain why that change, why not the UI system?
What? Excuse me.
I'm happy to. I mean, I'm happy to weigh in on that in that respect. I think we. Sorry, I'll wait for to be recognized.
Chair, Mr. Speaker, you may answer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's a little odd being on Zoom, isn't it? Representative Warren, I think we heard pretty loudly from the business community that they were concerned about the source of funding, and I think in order to sort of balance the numerous interests that were at the public hearing on these two bills, I think that this was the right balance to strike, and the department communicated to us that there were federal workforce funds potentially that could be secured, and I felt like that was a good way to move forward, particularly since it is a pilot program, and if it's to be funded over the long term, I mean, that's another conversation for the legislature to have at a future time. But for the sake of the fact that these are one-time funds, for the sake of piloting the Navigator program, I felt like that was an appropriate use of the workforce funds.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
You may proceed.
I'm just trying to understand how secure those funds are, because there seems, I'm new here, but it does seem that there's kind of constantly a strong difference between what's funded, what we vote on, and then what's ultimately funded. So I'm just trying to understand how secure those funds are, and it doesn't seem like there is a lot of clarity at this point on that. So it just seems like even as a pilot program, that would almost mean to me that is the compromise, to fund it through a UI system, but have it be a pilot program for that. That would seem like the compromise. But so I'm just trying to understand why this, if the funds aren't secure. Am I misunderstanding that part of this?
Well, from my perspective, I trust that the Department of Labor has provided accurate information about the source of funding, and that the funding will be there. The provision related to navigators was in my version of the bill. I don't think, if I did not feel comfortable moving forward with that aspect of things, I would have clearly expressed the gripe, and I feel confident in the department for fulfilling that part of the request. So I hear what you're saying, and I totally get that. But if the department is providing that direction, I trust that they will fund it in that way.
The chair recognizes Senator Vitelli.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to weigh in on Representative Warren's concerns here. Securing funding is always a challenge, but for my many, many years of working with the Department of Labor on workforce issues, this really seems to me to be a very appropriate way of approaching this pilot program. And these kinds of funds from the U.S. Department of Labor are often used for these types of programs that seek to test new strategies, new ways of reconnecting people to the workforce. So I think there's a good chance that these funds will come through. And I would echo what Speaker Fecto said, is that, the department will do its best to make sure that the funds are secured to implement this pilot program. I think truly it is a much more appropriate source of funding to do this kind of work. And I've seen it many, many times in the past be very successfully applied. So I just want to the extent that one can provide assurance of seeking funding, I think this is a good path forward.
Thank you, Senator. Chair recognizes Representative Cuddy.
Thank you, Senator. And I'd like to thank both the sponsors for their work on this, the department for their work on this. I think it's a great compromise, and I'm glad to see everybody getting together to participate on it. And I would like to make a motion of ought to pass as amended with the amendment that was presented.
So the motion is ought to pass as amended on LD 1564. Is that the motion? Representative Cuddy? There's been a motion made. Chair recognizes Senator Guerin.
If you're looking for a second, that's not me. So are we at a point of discussion, or were you looking for a second?
I'm not looking for a second yet. I just want to first see what these hands are for. So Senator Guerin, please say what you'd like to say before I ask for a second. Thank you.
I think we've gotten a lot of new information today, which none of the stakeholders in the business community have had an opportunity to digest. I would like to suggest that perhaps we do a carryover of the entirety of this and have a stakeholders group convened to look through it. And I think there's some good things in there, and then there's some things that maybe have been left out or would be questionable.
Chair recognizes Representative Bradstreet.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I would concur with Senator Guerin. There's an awful lot here. This is a big, big issue, and we can't rush into this without doing a whole lot of research. And we need input from all stakeholders. And I think caution is the word of the day here. So if there is a motion, I will be voting against it. Thank you.
Thank you. Recognizes Representative Warren.
I just want to say I do respect and appreciate all the work that's been done on this, and I do have reservations, but I want to second Representative Cuddy's motion if I can.
So the motion has been made and it has been seconded by Representative Warren. Chair recognizes Representative Cuddy.
I just wanted to talk a little bit about why I made the motion. And we've heard both these bills, the information that we've looked at in terms of the, pardon me, let me mute my other meeting. The motion that, or the bills have both been heard. The amendment that's been brought forward to us today is essentially a combination of those two bills. We've done the time, we've done the work, the sponsors have done their work. So I am happy to make the motion, and I appreciate the second.
The chair recognizes Representative Drinkwater.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, we've heard both bills. Yes, we've had good discussions. But what was laid on our lap just this morning, about 25 minutes ago, was 20 pages of changes, which I would like to think this is the first time the whole committee has looked at it, not just a limited amount of us. So I would like to request a caucus if this is the right time to do that, sir.
Thank you, Representative Drinkwater. What I'm going to suggest first, I'm going to go to recognize Representative Warren, and then I'll tell you what my suggestion is for today. Thank you. Chair recognizes Representative Warren.
I just want to say, I don't know if other people did see this before, but I did not. I guess as familiar as I can be with the different components of these two bills, I just have reservations about. I just think these are very important issues. I don't think we have time to waste, and I just think they can go further, and there can be more security about the funding. But I just wanted to address those comments because I do respect what you're saying, Representative Drinkwater. But yeah, thank you.
Anyone else? So with that, I'm going to suggest, because we do have a long day today. And I don't think that anyone has seen this amendment until either last night or this morning, that I suggest that there will be a motion made at some point after I speak to do two things. We can certainly dispense with LD 1571 since we know that bill will not be needed. And we can table 1564 with the motion before us, which will give everyone an opportunity to look at this amendment. And we can take this up again later this afternoon or on Wednesday of next week, which will be the next day we meet, if we meet next week at all, which it looks like we're going to have to because we have a public hearing this afternoon. So with that, I have no need, we have no need to take this vote right now. I would much rather that everyone read the amendment that has been worked out by all of the stakeholders. And even if we don't ultimately all agree on the final vote, we should agree to give ourselves some time to read the amendment. So we do have a long day and we will come back this afternoon as well. So with that, I recognize Senator Mearmont.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Move to table LD 1564, please.
Then move to table 1564. Is there a second? And seconded by Representative Warren. It's a non-debatable motion. Ms. Thompson, could you please call the roll?
Senator Hickman.
Yay.
Hickman, yay. Senator Guerin.
Yay.
Guerin, yay. Senator Mearmont.
Yay.
Mearmont, yay. Representative Sylvester.
Yay.
Sylvester, yay. Representative Bradstreet.
Yes.
Bradstreet, yes. Representative Cuddy.
Yes.
Cuddy, yes. Representative Drinkwater.
Yay.
Drinkwater, yay. Representative Gear is absent. Representative Morris.
Yes.
Morris, yes. Representative Pebworth is absent. Representative Prescott is absent. Representative Rader.
Yes.
Rader, yes. And Representative Warren.
Yes.
Warren, yes. So it is unanimous of those present.
Vote is unanimous of those present. Motion prevails. LD 1564 will be tabled until later in today's session or until Wednesday of next week. Chair recognizes Senator Mearmont.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I move ought not to pass LD 1571.
Been moved ought not to pass LD 1571. Is there a second? Seconded by Chairman Sylvester. Any discussion of the motion? Committee is ready for the question. Ms. Thompson, please call the roll.
Senator Hickman.
Yay.
Hickman, yay.
Mr. Chair, before the roll, I wanted to make a comment. My hand is not coming up when I press it for whatever reason.
We will pause the vote, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. I'm looking over because I've had my hand up about 5 times. So you could just, I don't know why my hand isn't working, but I appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, go ahead.
Just let me know that if your hand isn't working, just call on me and I will be sure to recognize you. Go for it, Mr. Chair. Chairman Sylvester, are you there? I think that you are almost not able
Yes,
to.
I am. All right. Yep. No, I'm here now. I thought we were going on with the vote. So I just wanted to say that when folks look through these bills, first of all, thank you to both sponsors for putting these bills forward. I appreciate the consolidation into one bill.
And looks like we have lost Chairman Sylvester.
It seems like there's about 20 pages of new stuff, but 98% of this was in one of the two bills. So I would just caution folks to just kind of take a moment, take a breath, pull out the two original bills, pull out the new amendment. And what you're going to see is that those two bills have been combined and some things have been stripped out. So I just make sure that everyone understood the amount of work that's been done to consolidate this, both of these bills that we heard separately, and then to put them back together. So that there's not 20 pages of new material, mostly exactly what we have already heard. So thank you. I appreciate you letting me speak, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. So Ms. Thompson, will you please call the roll on the motion ought not to pass on LD 1571?
Senator Hickman.
Yay.
Hickman, yay. Senator Guerin.
Yay.
Guerin, yay. Senator Mearmont.
Yay.
Mearmont, yay. Representative Sylvester.
Yay.
Sylvester, yay. Representative Bradstreet.
Yes.
Bradstreet, yes. Representative Cuddy.
Yes.
Cuddy, yes. Representative Drinkwater.
Yay.
Drinkwater, yay. Representative Gear is absent. Representative Morris.
Yes.
Morris, yes. Representative Pebworth is absent. Representative Prescott is absent. Representative Rader.
Yes.
Rader, yes. And Representative Warren.
Yes.
Warren, yes. Unanimous of those present.
Vote is unanimous of those present. The motion prevails. I will close the work session on LD 1571. I forgot to close the work session on LD 1564 for the time being. Thank you all for the discussion. We will now open the work session on LD 1509, an act to provide that Maine school bus drivers are eligible for unemployment insurance in certain circumstances, presented by Senator Paul Davis of Piscataquis. Mr. Langland, I know that we have worked this, but I believe there is a proposed amendment to the bill. If Senator Davis is still here and would like to turn on his video in order to participate in this, that would be perfectly fine. You are welcome to do so. And with that, Mr. Langland, the floor is yours.
Sure. So I will share my screen with you. I worked with Representative Sylvester and as well as the Department of Labor on an amendment to LD 1509. So you'll recall that Maine law does not currently allow non-professional employees at educational institutions to collect unemployment benefits between academic terms or years if they have written reasonable assurance that they will be asked to perform those services when in the next academic year or term. So the first section of the bill on the screen repeals that paragraph within the unemployment compensation law. And section 2 of the bill just changes a couple of references to the repealed section. And the other part of this amendment is that Representative Sylvester wanted the state to fund that. We heard a lot of discussion at our previous work session about school districts making payments in lieu of rather than regular contributions to the unemployment insurance system. So the section 2 of the bill, which I guess actually is misnumbered and it should be section 3, specifies that the state shall fund for the school administrative units any benefits that an employee elects to receive after the repeal of the paragraph that permits them to collect UI benefits through fiscal year 2023. So that is a very brief summary of what the bill does. There was discussion at the last work session about allowing a cap on the number of weeks that employees could collect on unemployment benefits, but my understanding in consulting with the Department of Labor, and they consulted with their federal counterparts, that is a potential conformity issue in terms of limiting the amount of unemployment benefits in between academic terms or years. So in presenting that information to the sponsor indicated to me, and the sponsor of the amendment, Representative Sylvester, indicated to me that just a full repeal with no cap would be his preference in proceeding forward with the amendment. And I know that Laura Boyette is still here, and she can certainly speak to the nuances between payments in lieu of and as well as school administrative units that are making regular contributions. And my understanding is there is a mismatch statewide in that some fall in one category and others fall in the other, but that the law specifies that they must have a choice. And I believe that it's possible that Ms. Boyette might also have some potential monetary figures, as Section 3 does require the state to fund these benefits through fiscal year 2023. So I'm happy to try to answer any questions or certainly yield the floor to Ms. Boyette, who's incredibly knowledgeable, as we know, on these things.
Thank you, Mr. Langland. Director Boyette, well, first, the sponsor of the bill is here, and Senator Davis, are you able to speak? I can't see that you have a microphone. Or are you just able to see us? I don't think that Senator Davis has audio working. Senator Davis, can you hear us? There we are. Ledger zooming is a very interesting thing. I see that Representative Pepworth has joined us. So while we try to wait for Senator Davis to get connected, would you please introduce yourself?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Sarah Pepworth. I represent House District 133 in the Blue Hill Peninsula.
Thank you. Well, it doesn't seem like, let's see,
Mr. Chairman.
There we are. Good morning.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I apologize. For some reason, my apparatus shut itself down.
It's okay. I wanted to get your thoughts on this amendment to your bill since you are here with us this morning.
Well, I'm sorry. My phone shut itself down and I didn't hear any of it. I'm sorry.
All right.
I don't know what to.
Well, I would then ask for Mr. Langland to repeat the proposed amendment so that you have the opportunity to hear what may be happening to your bill. Mr. Langland, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
No problem.
So, Representative Sylvester approached me with an amendment to LD 1509 that would repeal the provision in the unemployment compensation law that prohibits non-professional employees of public educational institutions from receiving unemployment benefits between academic terms or school years. So originally the bill was specific to school bus drivers, but the amendment is a little bit broader in that it repeals the paragraph that specifies non-professional employees, which school bus drivers would fall under. Representative Sylvester had indicated at our last work session that he thought that capping the amount of unemployment benefits that these non-professional employees can collect to 6 weeks would be his preference. And in further discussion with him, as well as Laura Boyette at the Department of Labor, and they reached out to their federal counterparts at the US Department of Labor, it was raised as a potential concern with conformity about limiting the amount of weeks that a person can collect unemployment. So in having further conversations with Representative Sylvester, he proposed not limiting the amount of weeks that a person in this situation would be able to collect. So my understanding is that typically the time between one school year to another is about 10 weeks, give or take. So that is one piece of the amendment. Then the other piece of the amendment proposed by Representative Sylvester is that if the repeal goes through, the state will fund the benefits that those employees have elected to apply for based on eligibility through fiscal year 2023. I hope that made some sense.
Senator Davis, you are muted.
Am I still muted?
I can hear, we can hear you now, sir.
Okay, that sounds good. I believe that is probably mostly in line with the representative from, I believe, Belfast. I can't remember her name. The bill that she put in. I think better use a little caution and make sure that it is limited to just the 10 weeks between the end of school year and the beginning of the new year. Some schools shut down for 3 weeks in December and that type of thing. And I think limiting it just to the summertime would be appropriate. Sounds like you've done some work on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Davis. Chair recognizes Senator Gary.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A question for our analyst. Who would fall into that non-professional category?
So the way the law is written, and I have to pull it up if you'll give me a second, it would not be administrative or it wouldn't be like teachers or principals. It would be what's categorized as non-professional. So it would include bus drivers and
teachers' aides.
I don't know that specifically. If Ms. Boyette has the answer to that, I would certainly defer to her. I do know that, so there is a paragraph that is right above the law that would be the paragraph that would be repealed in this bill, that specifies that administrative professionals are not eligible. So I don't know the nuances between what qualifies. That might be based on federal standards or something that I'm not aware of at this time. What I can tell you is, and let me pull up the law. The paragraph covers instructional, research, or principal administrative capacity. So those folks that fall in that category are still not eligible to receive benefits if their services are sort of guaranteed via written assurance in between academic terms or school years.
Director Boyette, can you answer Senator Guerin's question definitively?
Yes, there's about 19,600 non-professional employees of schools in Maine. They cover a wide variety of occupations, your ed techs, your janitorial workers, your food preparation, coaches, groundskeeping, library technicians, secretaries and administrative assistants. There's quite a long list of that, of what would be considered non-professional.
Senator Guerin, does that satisfy your question?
That does. I do have kind of a follow-up question to that. Would all of those people be, if Representative Sylvester's amendment was added, all of those 19,000 people would be funded by the state, and it would be taken out of the local?
They would be funded by the state for that first year. It would go into effect probably for not this summer, but next summer under the proposed amendment. So for that first year, it would be that first summer season, according to this amendment, as I understand it, it would be funded by the state and afterwards would go to the school budgets.
Okay, thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Drinkwater.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In my area, we have Sear Bus Line, which is a huge busing for schools. So I'm assuming that this proposed amendment and law would only cover bus drivers for RSUs and SADs and not the private sector, even though they get laid off.
The private sector employees that are laid off are already covered for unemployment. So they're already receiving unemployment benefits. It just wouldn't go to the school.
All right, thank you.
Representative Prescott has joined us. He's not here yet. Chair recognizes Chairman Sylvester.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was trying to say. I stepped up in order to be able to make sure that Representative Prescott is here. And he can certainly speak for himself, but in our conversations, what we are seeking to try to do is to have as close to a unanimous movement on this. So we're really open to discussion. And we've talked about going both up and down in terms of, as the committee wanted to do, we sort of landed in this middle spot of non-professional staff. You know, our original conversations were about bus drivers only. We've also sort of expanded and talked about, you know, covering everybody. But I think the discussion here is about municipalities that self-fund and, you know, the difference between self-funding and being in the system. where the insurance covers much of this rather than coming out of pocket. And so, where we want to land in terms of encouraging municipalities to cover this staff, either by being part of the system or planning on it, if they continue to self-fund, being able to determine which is more financially beneficial. And so, I as Representative Prescott is coming in, he is a member of this group. So he has a much clearer understanding of some of it. And so, I would defer to him to explain some of the thoughts he had about this bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It looks like there is, I don't know if Representative Prescott can hear us.
I can hear you. Can you hear me? I don't know what happened to the video.
Please introduce yourself as a member of the committee, of course. And yeah, it doesn't look like your video is on, obviously, but there's nothing to hear. So you may just want to turn it on.
There you go. All right. Hi, I'm Dwayne Prescott, House District 17, Waterboro and Lyman.
Thank you for being here, of course. Welcome back to the LegiSoon framework here. We are discussing a bill that clearly affects you as well. And so Chairman Sylvester wanted to make sure that you had an opportunity to weigh in on this discussion.
All right, well, thank you very much. It actually doesn't affect me because I drive for private schools, but I have driven for the public schools in the past. And the situation is these school bus driving jobs are maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours in the morning. You got 5 hours of downtime, then you go back and you do another hour and a half. So it's hard to get people to do these jobs as it is because it's not really a financial support of a household. Also, these drivers are professional drivers. They come with a CDL, they're drug tested, they get physical, the whole 9 yards, fingerprint, background check. And if they're gonna have to go look for work during the summer, anyhow, they're gonna get it. I mean, these are very hireable people. And we're already struggling with school bus drivers. And for quite a while, as it turns out, there was an unsaid and unstated rule, because at one time I did get unemployment as a school bus driver, but the only way I could get it was that the school said I had a definite date of return, and they gave me 6 weeks without having to look for work. But it turns out that was never in statute, which is why this bill has been around, came up a few years ago by a senator. So we're back to square one of how to retain these drivers. So the idea is that if they say it's faxed and it's authorized by, we'll call it the Department of Transportation within each school, would fax into the unemployment, that they do have a date of return, they would be able to receive 6 weeks, which leaves about 2 or 3 weeks short of the summer, 6 weeks of unemployment without having to look for work, knowing that when school starts, they're going to be right back in a bus. It's really just that simple. Because the way things are designed now is they could collect, but they'd be looking for work. And that puts them in a bad position, because if you turn down work, then you don't get the unemployment, and it's also, you'd be lying to say that somebody's not going to hire these people. Or, they'd be lying saying, turning down jobs that were offered to them because they want to come back as a school bus driver. And that's the situation we're in now. This latest amendment, the summary is definitely heading in the right direction, but it kind of contradicts the 2 paragraphs that are left, because it talks about unprofessional positions, but these are professional positions. They're CDLs. So that needs to get straightened out. And it talks about that you can't get unemployment if it's during a scheduled vacation break. Well, they call it summer vacation. So this bill does need a whole lot of more clarity. But the basic simple fact is bus drivers should be able to collect some unemployment without having to look for work, as long as they're guaranteed a return date, because we're going to need them to come back. They know these kids, they know the routes. Let's face it, they drive through blizzards. They're up at 5 a.m. jumping into cold school buses for our kids. So I think this is something we should be doing for them. There was discussion about including everybody, which I think we should look at in the long run. But even on this committee, we've all done this, where we've included one group just to get us started. And then down the road, we've included some other groups. I mean, just this session alone, I lost track of how many times we've done that. So I'd be looking just to get the school bus drivers in at this time with that stated fact, just that, and we'll see how it plays out, you know, especially with the fiscal note and whatnot. But I'd like to see it move forward like that. Is that clear?
Thank you, Representative Prescott. It is clear what your desire is. We would have to find out if it's possible in state law to do it that way, lest we run the risk of not conforming with federal law. Chair recognizes Senator Guerin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. One point I wanted to bring up that I think has been overlooked is the unintended consequence of many of these non-professional employees work in our tourist industry in the summer and fill those jobs. And you know, the number of people was kind of shocking to me, 19,900 people if we included everyone and not just bus drivers. That is taking out a segment of the workforce that would normally be a pool of workers for the temporary tourist season. And I think that that has worked very well for Maine. And I look at the cost to the unemployment system going forward of 19,900 non-professional employees. There's a big cost there. And then there's a big loss of workers for the tourist industry, which brings in a lot of our tax revenue. So I think that is something we need to consider.
Yeah.
Chair recognizes Chairman Sylvester.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wonder, you know, I will just say that it's been a real pleasure to work with Representative Prescott on kind of bringing this idea forward. I'd be happy to, you know, limit it to bus drivers, but I wonder if we could bring Director Boyette in to sort of spell out for us a little bit about what we're able to do without messing up conformity.
Yes, thank you, Chairman Sylvester. We will do that momentarily. First, let's hear from Senator Mearmont.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, it seems in the discussion, it reminds me of the challenge it is for our district, and I've heard from others about the bus drivers, and any little piece of it that upsets it, where they're already critical on being able to find people to drive because of the nature of the job, the short period of actual pay hours, the seasonality. And then they propose different annual medical requirements, and a bunch of people quit or were turned out. And that left a lot of districts very short, having to cancel routes. I think the nature of it with our current employment situation is that we have a responsibility to allow a program to take care of a group like this, because we have to have them come back in the fall. We can't keep adding things that have them either getting out of the workforce, because many are older folks who have quit or retired and are doing this and feel like they're contributing as well. But they aren't out looking for another job. We're not taking them out of the workforce. So I think that this absolutely has to include the bus drivers. I'm not clear on the broader group. I'll listen to the wisdom of the committee on that, but we must do this part.
Thank you, Senator. Director Boyette, will you please weigh in on carve-outs, concerns, conformity issues based on everything that you have heard us discuss so far?
Sure, we can. I'll be happy to. The issue with trying to limit it to 6 weeks is problematic. If we cover somebody, it goes afoul of federal laws governing equitable treatment of individuals who are covered by the program. So we couldn't limit it to 6 weeks. I think what Representative Prescott's referring to is there in our statute, if somebody has a definite return to work date, they're entitled to up to a 6-week work search waiver. That is the cap on that. Yes, that's the piece. It's a little different than coverage and being eligible for benefits, but they're potentially eligible for benefits if this amendment goes through for the length of the between term break, which tends to vary from 8 weeks to 10 weeks, depending on the school. In that respect, if we were just covering bus drivers, Then there's approximately 2,000 bus drivers and van drivers that are employed by schools right now. And that estimate would probably run between $5 and $8 million a year if you were covering them. And that's based on, and the variance is based on the fact that some work 25 hours a week, some work 30 hours a week, and there's a range of average wages in there as well. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you're looking at covering all the 19,600 for that, if all of them collected, it would range from about 54 million to 77 million a year, using the same caveats on that, and based on what's the average wage for average hourly wage for each of those different classifications that are covered in the non-professional group. If only 60%, because some people will work during the summer. If you looked at 60%, it would be about 32 million to 46 or 47 million a year on that for the summer breaks. But bus drivers, if it was just bus drivers, it would be between, we estimate between 5 and 8 million. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Director. Is there any conformity issue with just allowing this benefit?
The bus drivers? No, no, the state can choose to do that. You just have to cover all of them. You can't pick and choose which ones, that's all. Mm-hmm.
Chair recognizes Representative Prescott.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. Oh, you said that there is already a statute, a work search waiver.
Mm-hmm.
And that was 8 to 10 weeks?
No, the work search waiver for anyone who is unemployed and has a definite recall to work is up to 6 weeks. We can't separate it by say construction could only get this amount and schools could get this amount. It has to be equitable across all unemployed. So if there's a definite recall date to return to work, an individual can have up to 6 weeks. Outside of that period, they would need to look for work. They can choose when to take it. Most would want, it would probably be most beneficial to take it the 6 weeks just before returning. But some unemployment periods, even with a definite recall to work, are significantly longer than 8 to 10 weeks, particularly during our winter months. Mm-hmm.
All right, so and bus drivers can already use this program. They can already do this, right?
No, right now under current law, because they have a reasonable assurance of returning to work in the fall, they're not eligible. They're ineligible to receive benefits.
All right.
Yeah, it's a little confusing because there's two different components. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director. So I am going to suggest it is 10 minutes after 10. And this issue, I think we're going to need to discuss in the caucus, as well as the previous bill that we've tabled. And so I'm going to ask for Ms. Thompson to put us in our breakout rooms. And the committee will be at ease, therefore, for at least 15 minutes, but no longer than 25, because we do have a lot of work to do today. So I'm going to ask both caucuses to sort of discuss the scope of the work you want to discuss in this caucus, no longer than 25 minutes. Thank you. I think we might have made it within 25 minutes, according to my clock. Very close. All right, let's see. I see Representative Drinkwater. I see Representative Bradstreet. And if all committee members will turn on their videos when they return to the main room, then at least we will know that we are here and ready to discuss again LD 1509. The chair recognizes Representative Cuddy.
I actually just wanted to start off by complimenting Ms. Thompson on the graphic that she's displayed as we have been on break. I think that looks very nice.
Thank you.
Do my best.
So we are back from our caucus break, and I would like to hear from a member of this committee on what are we going to do about LD 1509. Chair recognizes Senator Miramont.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to move ought to pass and with the amendment that it includes bus drivers only at this time.
It's been moved ought to pass as amended, the amendment being only including bus drivers. Is there a second? It's been seconded by Representative Sylvester. Is there any discussion from the committee members on the motion? Chairman Sylvester.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm wondering whether Representative Prescott has any friendly amendments. I know he brought up a couple of different issues.
Am I here?
Chair recognizes Representative Prescott.
All right, thank you. Just so we're all on the same page, what I'm looking for here is that the school bus drivers will be included into what's already existing statute for the work search waiver. That's it, nice and clean, nothing else. Is that what is on the table?
Senator Miramont, you made the motion. Is that what your motion is?
That is what I understand it to be, but just to limit the group to the bus drivers for fitting into the existing statute.
Mr. Langland, are you clear?
Work search waivers. Okay.
Yeah, I am clear. Is the intent still to keep the state responsible for funding the first year?
I believe that was the only option. Did someone want to clarify that one for me? I didn't know I was presented with multis on that one.
Chair recognizes Representative Prescott.
Just the first year, there can't be. This would be an ongoing program. It would be no different than any other unemployment program.
Chair recognizes Chairman Sylvester.
That's correct, Representative. And so what we wanted to do was, since so many, the reason that was in there was that so many school systems are self-funding, and another section of them are already in the program. And so to give them a year to assess whether they wanted to be part of the regular program or continue self-funding, that was the idea behind having the state pick up the tab for the first year.
Okay, got it.
And so is that the will of the motion, is to keep that state funding for the first year to allow localities to decide whether or not they would like to continue to self-fund or be a part of this going forward? Is that the will of the motion, Senator Miramont?
I will say yes, but I'm trying to work here with everyone, but I believe that would be the best for everyone, but this is all friendly, so go ahead.
Chair recognizes Chairman Sylvester. Your hand is still up. Do you have something else to say?
My hand is just up.
Great. Anyone else on the committee want to weigh in on the motion before we take the vote? Seeing none. Committee is ready for the vote. Ms. Thompson, please call the roll.
Senator Hickman.
Yay.
Hickman, yay. Senator Guerin.
Yes.
Guerin, yes. Senator Miramont.
Yes.
Miramont, yes. Representative Sylvester.
Yes.
Sylvester, yes. Representative Bradstreet.
Yes.
Bradstreet, yes. Representative Cuddy.
Yes.
Cuddy, yes. Representative Drinkwater.
Yay.
Drinkwater, yay. Representative Gear is absent. Representative Morris.
Yes.
Morris, yes. Representative Pebworth.
Yes.
Pebworth, yes. Representative Prescott.
Yes.
Prescott, yes. Representative Rader is absent. Representative Warren.
Yes.
Warren, yes. That is unanimous of those present with 2 absents.
11 members voting in the affirmative, none in the negative, with 2 absent. The motion prevails. I will close the work session on LD 1509. Thank you all. We will now open the work session on LD 677, an act to improve public sector labor relations by amending the laws governing arbitration under certain public employees' labor relations laws, presented by President Troy Jackson of Aroostook. Mr. Langland.
Sure. So under current law, arbitrations under labor relations laws governing municipal public employees, University of Maine system employees, state employees, and judicial employees require that each party select 1 arbitrator, and those 2 arbitrators select a neutral third arbitrator. This bill requires that the neutral third arbitrator be selected from a panel of arbitrators appointed by the governor from a list of nominations supplied by the Maine Labor Relations Board. Under the bill, appointees to the panel of arbitrators serve as impartial arbitrators of the interests of the public in the settlement of disputes between employers and employees or their representatives, and each appointee must reside in the state. In addition, the bill amends the labor relations laws governing municipal public employees and University of Maine system employees to provide that determinations by arbitrators with respect to controversies over all subjects, including salaries, pensions, and insurance, are final and binding on the parties. It also amends the labor relations laws governing state employees to provide that with respect to controversies over salaries, an arbitrator's determinations are final and binding on the parties. It amends the labor relations law governing judicial employees to provide that an arbitrator's determinations with respect to controversies over all subjects, including salaries, pensions, and insurance, are final and binding on the parties. In that with respect to controversies over salaries, determinations by mediator arbitrators are final and binding on the parties. The bill adds specific factors that an arbitrator must consider when a controversy is not resolved between a public employer and bargaining agent under the Municipal Public Employees Labor Relations Law. The bill also provides that if a public employer fails to enter into an agreement to carry out and effectuate binding determinations made by arbitrators, the public employees are authorized to strike. The bill requires that cost items in a collective bargaining agreement arrived at through arbitration may not be included in the state or local operating budget as relevant for the current fiscal year, but must instead be submitted for inclusion in the operating budget for the following fiscal year. And the bill provides an effective date for the changes made in the bill of July 1st, 2022. We received a lot of testimony from agencies. Julie Armstrong, the Chief Counsel of the Bureau of Human Resources, testified that it's the administration's position that salaries, pensions, and insurance comprise a significant portion of most operating budgets, and that the decisions to tax and spend public funds must remain in the hands of the citizens of Maine and their elected representatives. She also testified that turning over this responsibility to arbitrators runs counter to this principle of representative democracy, that private arbitrators are not elected and therefore are not accountable to taxpayers or the public. For these reasons, Maine has repeatedly rejected this approach to labor relations in the public sector. She also testified that labor negotiations may become essentially meaningless as the prospect of binding arbitration of financial matters may undermine the parties' incentive to attempt to reach an agreement on their own. Julia Finn from the Administrative Office of the Courts testified that it's unclear what establishment of the board is trying to solve, and that the language takes away the ability of parties to agree on an arbitrator. She testified that even when arbitration is not necessary, judicial branch collective bargaining agreements are usually ratified in July or August, and that makes it impossible to ever include cost items in the first year of a biennial budget. She testified that if judicial employees were to go on strike, the citizens of Maine would be deprived of access to justice, and the pandemic has demonstrated just how serious those consequences are. Robert Netto, the Chief Counsel for Labor Employment and the Maine Community College System, testified that the legislation would impede the ability of the system to fund ongoing efforts vital to the state. that the Board of Trustees is better suited than an arbitrator who may have little or no experience with higher education to make those decisions. He testified that the legislature controls the purse strings. The proper venue to address salary deficiencies is within the legislative, not arbitration process. He testified that arbitration panel under this legislation would have the ability to impose an increase, but the arbitration panel has no mechanism to fund the increase that it imposes. He testified that an arbitrator or arbitration panel may consider the ability or inability of a public entity to fund a salary increase, but it's not obligated to do so. He also testified that if a strike were to last long enough, the college might be forced to end a semester prematurely and could be forced to return federal financial aid, which he said that a conservative estimate is about $35 million lost for one semester. And Sam Warren from the University of Maine system submitted written testimony, which I linked to in my bill analysis. Other testimony was that the bill gives Maine's public safety employees an opportunity for level playing fields when they engage their employers in the collective bargaining process. And that under the current system, public safety employees who are negotiating for better salaries, retirement, or healthcare can be denied benefits by an employer who knows that drawing out the process and going to fact finding and subsequently to arbitration will result in a recommendation only. A little bit of background information which came up during the public hearing. It's similar in scope to LD 1177 from last legislature, which was voted ought to pass as amended, ought not to pass in this committee, and was subsequently vetoed by Governor Mills. The committee wanted to know whether arbitrators can come out with figures lower or higher than what the two parties disagree about. So for example, if party A says we want a 3% raise, but party B wants a 5% raise, can an arbitrator say, no, actually you're gonna get a 2% raise or a 6% raise? Theoretically, it's possible. I spoke with Neil Daly of the Maine Labor Relations Board, but it's highly unlikely. And he is here if you have any specific questions about that. There was also a desire by some on the committee to have the court case that was referenced by Robert Netto of the Maine Community College System, and I did link to that in my analysis. The committee has not yet received a preliminary fiscal impact statement.
Thank you, Mr. Langland. The chair recognizes Senator Mearmont.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is great. I support this in every way, and those objections have been heard for as long as there's been groups of people trying to come together to get treated fairly in their work. How we ever lost the right to strike when we're not being treated fairly, when we're in a union, baffles me. I do accept some parts of making unions work, making their leadership responsive to their members when they're not, which is open shop, but those are not ideas that are generally supported. So, and they're not in this. But this is a great step forward to restore the purpose and benefit of being in a union, and I move ought to pass.
It's been moved ought to pass by Senator Mearmont. Is there a second?
I was second.
It's been seconded by Representative Cuddy. Chair recognizes Representative Cuddy.
Thank you very much. I would like, at the end of Mr. Langland's analysis, he mentioned Mr. Daly speaking about the arbiter's ability, but hesitancy, I think, or possible hesitancy to change raise amounts. I would like to get a little information from him about that.
Mr. Daly, I see you here. Will you please turn on your video? Introduce yourself. If you are.
Good morning. Can everybody hear me at this point? I'm still waiting, I think, for my video to be turned on.
I can hear you, yes.
You, and there, I have asked you to start your video.
Okay.
Perfect. Please introduce.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. My name is Neil Daly. I'm the executive director of the Maine Labor Relations Board. And so, yeah, in terms of, and Representative Cuddy, I guess the specific question is about the issue of the arbitrators kind of unilaterally determining a number in terms of potential salary or retirement or something to that effect.
Yeah, the original, I think remembering back to that hearing, I believe the question that I had wanted to have answered was whether or not an arbitrator could take, say, if the parties, if the employer had offered a 3% raise and the parties couldn't agree on it, could the arbiter then look at all the information and say, actually, we're only going to do a 1.5% raise, that's fair, or say we're going to do a 4.5% because that's fair? Does the arbiter have that kind of power in that situation?
So I guess at least in terms of my interpretation of the bill as it stands right now, there is no prohibition on an arbitrator making that unilateral determination. There are those kind of guiding criteria that the arbitrator has to consider, and perhaps that those criteria would lead the arbitrator to decide a lower amount than the employer ultimately offered. At least from my perspective, it just seems unlikely that the arbitrators are going to go basically higher than the union requested or lower than the employer offered. Again, it's theoretically possible, at least the way I'm interpreting the bill, but it doesn't seem likely. And I think they would have to have some kind of exceptional reason for doing so.
So I'm sorry, quick follow-up, Senator.
You may proceed.
So while it is technically possible, real world situations super unlikely to happen.
Yeah, at least from my perspective, I don't see why it would.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Other than that, something jumped out at the arbitrator, but again, it doesn't seem likely to me.
Thank you, sir.
Chair recognizes Representative Bradstreet.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I appreciate the sentiments of Senator Meermont. I'll be voting against the motion. I believe there's compelling information and testimony that we've been given. I do recall bill from last session where the governor, I think, gave a very succinct and logical reasons for vetoing the bill. And I know there are issues sometimes with the public sector, but I believe most people know that going in. They do have generally other protections that many people in the private sector do not have. And I think if you think parents were upset that the kids weren't in school, I think have the teachers go on strike and you'll find a terrible situation. So thank you.
Chair recognizes Senator Guerin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senator Guerin, we cannot hear you at all. Your connection probably can't hear me We're going to mute that. The chair recognizes Representative Ward.
Motion. I feel that
there's a delay, everyone. I have tried to mute the sound and it's just not working yet. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
All right, one more time. Senator Guerin, can you hear me? Yeah, we're gonna come back to Senator Guerin. It's just not working. The chair recognizes Representative Warren.
Just to respond to some of the discussion that's happening, if this is the time to do it, my understanding is kind of always, especially in the last year with essential workers, that how literally valuable someone is in their community speaks to their value, and they can, I guess, make use of that and organize around that through striking. So just like when we think of who we traditionally value in society versus, who can we really not run without, I think that it's the ability, the right that we have to strike that makes that connection so clear. So I do appreciate and respect what people are saying, but that's just, to me, consistent with people's right
to organize in that way. And yeah, so with all due respect, I think how important someone is, this is how they show that to their community. And we have to respect that right in that context, no matter how important, or because they are so important, I guess is what I'd say. So thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Drinkwater.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I really liked what the good Senator Guerin had to say. It was very interesting. You know, I've read a lot of the testimony on this bill, and I got to go back to the governor's previous veto, which I hope she'll veto this again, to delegate, and I'm quoting here, to delegate a private binding arbitration the authority to set those amounts is to forfeit a fundamental function and responsibility of our school boards, city councils, town select boards, boards of trustees, and government branch leaders. And it's unthinkable that we could even allow school teachers, firemen, policemen to strike. Those are essential, as the good Representative Sophie Warren said, they're essential. We have to have them. The place to settle this is in contract negotiations. So thank you, Mr. Chair. I just can't support this.
Chair recognizes Representative Cuddy.
Yeah, I think that those are excellent points regarding the essential nature of these employees, and no one wants to see a teacher strike or a firefighter strike or anyone have to go on strike. And I'm glad that there's such widespread agreement about their importance. And I wish that we were also in agreement that they should all be paid in such a way that their importance was demonstrated. But currently, that's not the case. And these employees are hamstrung at the bargaining table by the current method of alleviating an impasse at the bargaining table, which is for the public sector employer to make a last best offer. And that's the one that there is. There isn't any further mechanism beyond that. And we're trying to solve that. And I'm hopeful that we will be able to find a solution to it in the long term.
Any other discussion on LD 677? The motion is ought to pass, made by Senator Miramont, seconded by Representative Cuddy. Is the committee ready for the question? Ms. Thompson, please call the roll.
Senator Hickman. Hickman, yay. Senator Guerin. Senator Guerin is absent. Senator Miramont.
Yay.
Miramont, yay. Representative Sylvester.
Yay.
Sylvester, yay. Representative Bradstreet.
No.
Bradstreet, no. Representative Cuddy.
Yay, and I wish I was having as much fun as Chair Sylvester was while I'm voting, as he's tooling along in one of those carts.
Cuddy, yay. Representative Drinkwater.
Nay.
Drinkwater, nay. Representative Gear is absent. Representative Morris.
No.
Morris, no. Representative Pebworth.
Yes.
Pebworth, yes. Representative Prescott.
No.
Prescott, no. Representative Rader is absent. Representative Warren.
Yes.
Warren, yes. Senator Guerin, are you here? Okay. That is 6-4 with 3 absent.
6 members voting in favor of the motion, 4 opposed to the motion, with 3 members absent. The motion prevails. Minority report.
Ought not to pass.
Ought not to pass it is. The absent members will have until Monday at noon to cast their vote.
I believe Senator Guerin is
Is that vote closed already?
No, I'm not. I did not gavel it closed.
I can't hear you.
Senator Guerin, you can still cast the vote. The motion is ought to pass on LD 677. And if you can hear me, I would imagine you would be.
I would be no if I'm still able to vote. I really can't hear you, but I'm not sure if you can hear me or not.
We can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I'm nay.
Got it. 6 members voting in favor of the motion, 5 opposed to the motion, with 2 absent. The motion prevails. Ought not to pass is the minority report. That remains the same. I will close the work session on LD 677. So we were going to take up LD 787 next, but we're not, because we do have an amendment. It hasn't been seen by the Housing Authority. Well, it has, but we will weigh in on that either later this afternoon or on Wednesday of next week. So with that, we have left for our morning session, just so everyone knows, it's 11 o'clock. We have to consider now bills that will probably only be carried over or killed. That would be LD 898. We'll start with that since I saw Representative Fay of Raymond come into the room. So I'm going to open up the work session on LD 898, an act to provide incentives to unemployed workers to become part of the caregiver workforce. And Mr. Langland, you can just let us know how many moving parts there are on this bill for the public to hear.
Sure. So if you recall, this was the bill that directed both the Department of Health and Human Services as well as the Department of Labor to convene a working group to form a pilot project to incentivize direct care workers and sort of make them more professional and have sort of a career ladder. And there, in the pilot project, one of the things that was proposed was certain TANF benefits and SNAP benefits, as well as certain provisions that would have changed the unemployment system. And after going through the bill, which initially was a concept draft, it became clear that there are a lot of outstanding questions and issues surrounding the language as drafted, particularly with federal conformity and involving multiple state agencies as well as their federal counterparts. And it became sort of a monumental task to go through that and sort of answer all of the questions and put together perfected language. And so I know the sponsor's here if she sort of wants to discuss what she feels the future of the bill should be, and I'm happy sort of to defer to her with the leave of the chairs for that.
Thank you, Mr. Langland. Chair recognizes Representative Fay, who is here. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Hickman. I'm Representative Jessica Fay, and I represent House District 66, which is parts of the towns of Casco, Poland, and Raymond. And I do appreciate the opportunity to, or would appreciate the opportunity to nail down some of the moving parts in this bill. I think it's an important bill. I mean, the rationale behind it is sometimes we have a cliff where some workers are not working as many hours as they could because they may lose access. Am I frozen? No, okay. Sometimes all the faces stop moving, and I'm hoping it's because I'm saying something so riveting that everybody's really intent on what I'm saying, but you never know on Zoom, and so I apologize. So what I was going to say is there are some barriers to some in the caregiving workforce for working as many hours as they might, and potentially losing access to benefits. Additionally, part of the concern is that there might be some benefits available that people who are working may not necessarily know that they have access to. And this program would create sort of a navigator that would help people enter the workforce, but also access additional services that they might be eligible for. So it's a lot.
Steamroll over us.
Oh, sorry. And so what I would love is the opportunity to work on this language a little bit more and get it set up in a way that I can bring it back to the committee next session and have something that's solid and well-grounded. And so I would hope that you would think that was a good idea and vote to carry over.
Thank you, Representative. Chair recognizes Representative Warren.
I just want to say thank you very much for Representative Fay for bringing this forward. And I think this is very important. And I hope that our committee will choose to hold it over. I think it's very important work to be done.
The chair would entertain a motion to request that this bill be carried over.
Can I make that request?
It's been moved by Representative Warren. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Miramont to request that LD 898 be carried over. Committee's ready for the question. Ms. Thompson, please call the roll.
Senator Hickman.
Yay.
Hickman, yay. Senator Guerin.
No.
Guerin, no. Senator Miramont.
Yes.
Miramont, yes. Representative Sylvester.
Yes.
Sylvester, yes. Representative Bradstreet.
Yes.
Bradstreet, yes. Representative Cuddy.
Yes.
Cuddy, yes. Representative Drinkwater.
I'm sorry, but I didn't hear the motion.
The motion is to request a carryover on LD 898.
Yay.
Drinkwater, yay. Representative Gear is absent. Representative Morris.
Yes.
Morris, yes. Representative Pebworth.
Yes.
Pebworth, yes. Representative Prescott.
Yes.
Prescott, yes. Representative Rader is absent. Representative Warren.
Yes.
Warren, yes. That's 10-1. With
Senator
two
Guerin,
absent.
would you like to stay where you are? Would you like to join the rest of us?
I will join the rest of you, and that can go under the hammer in the House and the Senate.
It's a request to carry over. So it's a unanimous vote, 11 members present voting to request to carry over. The motion prevails. We will send that to our presiding officers for approval. Next, we are going to take up, oh, I'm just all over the place today. I'm going to stick to this page I'm on. LD 1673, we will open the work session on LD 1673 and act to create a comprehensive permit process for the construction of affordable housing. I will tell the committee that the bill sponsor has asked this committee to consider carrying over this bill to the next regular session of the legislature. And so I would entertain a motion from the committee to do just that. Senator Miramont.
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second? Seconded by Representative Pebworth, moved by Senator Miramont. The question is request a carryover on LD 1673. Is the committee ready for the question? Ms. Thompson, please call the roll.
Senator Hickman.
Yay.
Hickman, yay. Senator Guerin.
Yes.
Guerin, yes. Senator Miramont.
Yay.
Miramont, yay. Representative Sylvester.
Yay.
Sylvester, yay. Representative Bradstreet.
Yes.
Bradstreet, yes. Representative Cuddy.
Yes.
Cuddy, yes. Representative Drinkwater.
Yay.
Drinkwater, yay. Representative Gear is absent. Representative Morris.
Yes.
Morris, yes. Representative Pebworth.
Yes.
Pebworth, yes. Representative Prescott.
Yes.
Prescott, yes. Representative Rader is absent. Representative Warren.
Yes.
Warren, yes. That is unanimous of those present.
The motion to request a carryover prevails. We will close the work session on LD 1673. We will open the work session on LD 831 and act to aid workforce development, sponsored by Chairman Mike Sylvester of Portland. Mr. Chair, what's your pleasure, sir?
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to explain very quickly that these are carryover or placeholder bills that I put in case departments needed bills and those sorts of things. We did not need them this session, but we want to make sure we have them in place in case the committee wants to move something, in case we need the vehicle for something that happens quickly. And so that's what you'll see a series of these that I'm asking to be carried over for that reason. I'll also say housing bills. We've heard a lot of housing bills, and I like this commission work in a bipartisan fashion to discuss the issues and try to come up with some solutions together that we could bring forward in one of these bills. So that is the intent of the number of carryover bills that you will see coming with my sponsorship. And I'd ask you to support those motions. And with that, I would move that we carry this over.
So what I'm going to suggest from the committee is that we entertain a motion to carry over LD 8. These are all Representative Sylvester's placeholder bills. So therefore, the motion that I am requesting is that we carry over LD 831, LD 460, LD 463, LD 464, LD 468, and LD 555.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
It's been moved to their second.
Second.
And by Representative Pebworth, the motion is to carry over these 6 bills, if I've counted that correctly. The chair recognizes Representative Warren.
Thank you very much. I know that we have a certain amount of bills in total that we can carry over. And so my question is, is there a working list in case even between now and like Wednesday, is there like flexibility for the ones that we're still considering? Does someone have any feedback on the bigger picture?
Any bill that is not approved for carryover will come back to the committee and will likely be something that we kill, since there is no language on any of these bills that we are requesting to carry over for. They're concept drafts, placeholders, and therefore, if we have run out of space, we will not take these up next session. Chair recognizes Representative Bradstreet.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's essentially the question I was going to ask, where we're at with the total carryovers. So I think you've answered that for me. Thank you.
I have a follow-up.
Chair recognizes Representative Warren.
I wanted to ask what is our total number of carryovers versus how many we have the option to carry over?
I will get that answer to you very shortly. I see that Mr. Langland has his hand raised. Chair recognizes Representative Sylvester.
Thank you. And just so everybody understands that if for some reason a bill with substance that we voted to carry over is we have too many on the list, they aren't approved one, it'll be one of mine that goes. So we think right now we get an automatic 12. We think we're at that 12, but if not, we'll move forward a placeholder for the Ledge Council to consider. And if they disapprove that, then we'll, say you can only have your 12, then I will remove one of these bills.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Langland.
A couple of things. I want to point out LD 555 actually has language. It's not a placeholder bill.
Yes.
So there is language there. So that is a consideration if you're going to do them all in one motion potentially. Also, in terms of where we are with numbers, 10% of our committee is about 12 bills. My estimates are we're at about 16 or 17 if all of these are sort of voted in, but it is what it is, but.
And there is a discussion amongst the presiding officers that they will increase the percentage of bills that each committee can carry over depending upon the workload. So again, these are discretionary decisions made by the presiding officers that the committee is requesting, and we may not get everything that we're asking for, and then the committee can deal with that after the fact. Chair recognizes Representative Bradstreet.
Thank you again, Mr. Chair. And I'm wondering what the normal situation is with carrying over this number of concept drafts, and if not, if we don't have any good answer to that, can some of these be consolidated so we don't have so many, maybe just a couple of them?
I think the discretion of the chair, these are the bills that the House chair of the committee has put in as placeholders in case things come that we need and that don't have to go before the Legislative Council for review in the second regular session. And so that is the protocol where we sort of allow for the chairs of the committee to do this. The chair recognizes Chairman Sylvester.
And we had a new chair coming in and was not here yet. That's why they're all under my name. Normally, I would say last session, Senator Bells and I had a similar number. We made the mistake of them at the end of.
We are losing you there, Chairman Sylvester. I think that if I can complete his thought, he was saying that last session, Senator Bellows, who was chair of this committee, they killed a lot of these bills. And when they needed to come back before the Ledge Council in the second regular session to put bills in, it just became a little bit of a political drama. So the point is to not make the same mistake twice. Chair recognizes Representative Warren.
I just want to see all of the bills that we're potentially going to be carrying over. I know now we voted on a couple of them, but I think different committees do things different ways. And I know that some do vote them all ultimately together at the same time. I know that in part we haven't done that to this point, but if these are all the remaining pieces and they're concept drafts, I would want to consider that all together.
Yeah, we're gonna keep LD 1555 in this motion because it is a bill sponsored by the chair, the House chair. So concept draft or language, we are not ready for prime time on any of these, and that is why we are making this motion to request to the presiding officers that these bills be carried over. Remember, these are requests. This is our committee's attempt to clear our table today, but to also allow for the presiding officers to move these bills forward into the next special session or into the next regular session, whichever comes first. Okay? Is that at least clear to the committee that these are discretionary choices that will be made by the presiding officers depending on the workload that they want us to continue with for the next special session or the next regular session? And then we will absolutely show you where we are at next week before we finish our committee work. There will be no secrets or surprises about what's on our list of carryover that we have requested, and then we will get an answer from the presiding officers as soon as they provide that answer. So we will all know which bills are going to be moved forward, okay? And I see that Mr. Langland is nodding his head, so he must be in agreement with me on that. Representative Warren?
Why do we have to vote these today? Why are we not able to do that?
This is our last day of session. That's why we have to vote these today, because the chair, that would be me, is asking for us to clear our record today so that we can get our bills, so we can complete our committee work. We have to take an action on these at some point. They can't just sit here, otherwise they die in committee. So today is the day, which I announced earlier in the week, that we're going to vote these bills. That is why.
But I guess my question, I'm sorry.
Is that a satisfactory answer, Representative Warren?
I'm so sorry. I do have a clarifying question, I think.
Go ahead.
I am trying to understand if the ones that are just concept drafts, if we are making certain decisions, do they go to the Legislative Council and then come back to us and we make final determinations on which to hold over? No. Okay. So we do have to.
They go to the presiding officers. They will look at our bills that we have requested for carryover, and they will say yay or nay. They will let us know which ones they approve for carryovers and which ones they don't. And then we'll know exactly how many bills this committee will take up in the second regular session of the 130th legislature. Does that answer your question, Representative?
It does. I would like to see the list of all the bills that at this point.
See the list. You just don't see it right now because we haven't actually put that list together for you. But as soon as we have that list, this committee will see the whole list of carryover requests that we have made. Okay.
Can I ask another question?
You may ask another question.
So we'll get to see the list, but I mean see the list before we make this big kind of vote and make decisions that would go over that 12 number that we have.
I don't understand the question.
I mean, I want to see the full list before we vote on the bulk of carryovers that remain.
The chair recognizes Chairman Sylvester. Chairman Sylvester, you're on mute.
Mr. Chair, can I request a caucus, please? 5-minute caucus.
Sure. We know where our breakout rooms are. We will go to our caucus for 5 minutes.
I'm not seeing the breakout option.
Let me check. If you got off, then it may have kicked you out of the room.
Oh, I've been on and off so many times today that
That's okay. Do you see the pop-up?
I do. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, no problem.
If I don't get to talk to you privately again, have a great summer. We'll see you next winter. I hope you come back. I know
Thank you.
terribly this year with all the Zoom problems, but we'll be in person next year, right?
That would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So have a good summer, my dear.
Thank you. You too, Stacy.
It looks like we said this was Carnival Friday. It's Connectivity Challenge Friday. Everybody is a little shaky in the wind, so we will wait for our colleagues to return. As you return, please put on your video so that we know that you are here. And while we wait, Mr. Langland, I know we said we might take up our budget work session in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Obviously, if we have time and we clear the deck, we may be able to take it up in this morning session.
Yep.
Just so everybody knows that we may
Yeah,
do
and I would just caution that if we don't intend on meeting until Wednesday next week, the report back is due Tuesday at 4 p.m. to the Appropriations Committee. So it'd either have to be today or Monday.
Yeah, no, we'll do it today. We're definitely doing that today. I just said we might do it in the afternoon, but we may do it this morning, but we're definitely doing our budget report back today. Do you remember how many items there were in the budget change package? There didn't seem to be many. It only took 20 minutes to go through the presentation. So
Yeah, there weren't a lot, and there was one language piece.
Okay. And is the department on call for that, just in case?
Yeah, Kimberly Smith is here, and as well as Isaac Gingras. So
perfect. That's all I need to know. Thank you. So we have 6 bills in this motion, is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. And Representative Warren, while we wait for the Republican caucus to return, you do have a bill that is not in this motion because it's not the chair's bill. It's LD 907, an act concerning state pension funds and climate change. Are you asking us to carry that over or kill it?
I would ask to have it carried over or considered today.
I don't know what you mean by considered today.
Oh, then yes, I would ask to have it carried over if those are the two options.
Yeah, the choices are to carry it over or to kill it because we have not had any language on this well, I don't think we have. Have we, Mr. Langland? Yeah. So there's been no public hearing on this particular bill. So this is either a kill or a carry over. So we will request to carry it over in a different motion. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, while we've got a space, I have so many notes going. What do we have left to work?
So when we finish this motion, we will have 117, which the bill sponsor has asked us to kill. We will have 177, which is Representative Cuddy's bill, which he probably will ask us to carry over, but I will make no assumptions about that. And then we have Representative Warren's bill, which we just mentioned, LD 907. And then we also have to do the budget report back. Well, not the budget report back. We have to vote in or out of the change package requests from the administration, those budget line items that we heard last week. And then that will take us up until a break. And then we'll have
Thank you.
And then 1 o'clock is a public hearing. And then 2 o'clock is a very long work session. And we were also planning to, at the end of this session before lunch, revisit LD 1564, which is the unemployment insurance bill.
I would also add the committee got referred to at LD 1724 on Wednesday.
And we actually need to carry that bill over as well. So while that's not on our list, we can certainly add it if we get to do that. Thank you for that reminder, sir. That is President Jackson's bill. I don't have the title in front of me, but.
He's having a field day.
Yeah, this is our day. This is the day I really wanted to finish all of our work, but we'll have to have one more day next week. We're close, very close. What is the bill title on 1724? Let me just look that up while we're waiting.
It is an act of the logging dispute resolution board and to require proof of ownership documents to be available within 14 days of request.
Thank you.
Steve, are we in a breakout group or something?
No, you're in the main room.
No one.
Oh, okay, because I just wondered why we were. at ease or.
Yeah, I just came back. I lost my internet, so I don't know what we're doing.
Same.
We are waiting for our colleagues to return to take a final vote on these requests for carryover on LDs 469, 460, 463, 464, 468, 555, and LD 831. That slate of 6 bills is the motion is to request a carryover. The chair recognizes Representative Bradstreet.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I just wanted to say I have reservations about it. But I think it was pointed out to us earlier by Representative Sylvester that if somebody requests a carryover or a table, I guess it's the proper thing to acquiesce to that request. So I'll be voting yes for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Chair recognizes Representative Cuddy.
I thought Mr. Langland had suggested that one of the bills did have language, and are we carrying over that bill even though it does have language? Is that the intent?
That is correct, sir.
Thank you.
Is everyone clear on the motion before us? It is request to carry over Chairman Sylvester's bills until the second regular session or the second special session of the 130th legislature, whichever comes first. Is the committee ready for the question? Ms. Thompson, please call the roll.
Senator Hickman.
Yay.
Hickman, yay. Senator Guerin.
Yes.
Guerin, yes. Senator Miramont.
Yes.
Miramont, yes. Representative Sylvester.
Yes.
Sylvester, yes. Representative Bradstreet.
Yes.
Bradstreet, yes. Representative Cuddy.
Yes.
Cuddy, yes. Representative Drinkwater.
Yay.
Drinkwater, yay. Representative Gear is absent. Representative Morris.
Yes.
Morris, yes. Representative Pebworth.
Yes.
Pebworth, yes. Representative Prescott.
Yes.
Prescott, yes. Representative Rader is absent. Representative Warren.
Yes.
Warren, yes. That is unanimous of those present.
The vote is unanimous of those present. The committee will request to the presiding officers that we carry over that slate of 6 bills. Now we will move to the bills that we still have in our possession that need action today. The first is LD 117, an act to preserve the health care of University of Maine system retirees. I will open the work session on that and let the committee know the bill sponsor, Representative Rebecca Bellette, has asked that we kill this bill today. Is there a motion? Representative Pebworth?
I move that we kill LD 117 at the request of the sponsor.
There's a motion ought not to pass on LD 117. Is there a second? Seconded by Representative Warren. Committee is ready for the question. Ms. Thompson, please call the roll.
Senator Hickman.
Yay.
Hickman, yay. Senator Guerin.
Yay.
Guerin, yay. Senator Miramont.
Yay.
Miramont, yay. Representative Sylvester.
Yay.
Sylvester, yay. Representative Bradstreet.
Yes.
Bradstreet, yes. Representative Cuddy.
Yes.
Cuddy, yes. Representative Drinkwater.
Yay.
Drinkwater, yay. Representative Gear is absent. Representative Morris.
Yes.
Morris, yes. Representative Pebworth.
Yes.
Pebworth, yes. Representative Prescott.
Yes.
Prescott, yes. Representative Rader is absent. Representative Warren.
Yes.
Warren, yes. That is, again, unanimous of those present.
Unanimous of those present, the motion prevails. I'll close the work session on LD 117. I will open the work session on LD 177, an act to improve labor laws for workers in Maine, presented by Representative Scott Cuddy of Winterport. What is your pleasure, Representative Cuddy?
This is a bill that would be a placeholder bill for the racking language that we would I removed from LD 1231. So I would ask that we carry this bill over because we are going to be trying to work that out over the summer.
Is that a motion?
I would move that we carry this bill over.
Move that we request a carryover on LD 177. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Miramont. Any discussion on the motion? Ms. Thompson, please call the roll.
Senator Hickman.
Yay.
Hickman, yay. Senator Guerin.
Yes.
Guerin, yes. Senator Miramont.
Yay.
Miramont, yay. Representative Sylvester.
Yay.
Sylvester, yay. Representative Bradstreet.
Yes.
Bradstreet, yes. Representative Cuddy.
Yes.
Cuddy, yes. Representative Drinkwater.
Yay.
Drinkwater, yay. Representative Gear is absent. Representative Morris.
Yes.
Morris, yes. Representative Pebworth.
Yes.
Pebworth, yes. Representative Prescott.
Yes.
Prescott, yes. Representative Rader.
Yes.
Rader, yes. And Representative Warren.
Yes.
Warren, yes. Unanimous of those present.
It is a unanimous vote. The committee will request to carry over on LD 177. Thank you, Ms. Thompson. We're moving right through. I will open up the work session on LD 907, an act concerning state pension funds and climate change, presented by Representative Sophie Warren of Scarborough. Representative Warren, what is your pleasure?
I would like to ask the committee if they would consider holding this bill over till next session.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
It has been moved. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator Mearmont to request that LD 907 be carried over. Is the committee ready for the question? Ms. Thompson, please call the roll.
Senator Hickman.
Yay.
Hickman, yay. Senator Guerin.
Yay.
Guerin, yay. Senator Mearmont.
Yay.
Mearmont, yay. Representative Sylvester.
Yay.
Sylvester, yay. Representative Bradstreet.
Yes.
Bradstreet, yes. Representative Cuddy.
I think Representative Sylvester said we is what I heard him say. We is what's going down. I would say yes.
Cuddy, yes. Representative Drinkwater.
Nay.
Drinkwater, nay. Representative Gear is absent. Representative Morris.
Yes.
Morris, yes. Representative Pebworth.
Yes.
Pebworth, yes. Representative Prescott.
Yes.
Prescott, yes. Representative Rader.
Yes.
Rader, yes. And Representative Warren.
Yes.
Warren, yes.
So that's 11 members voting in the affirmative and 1 in the negative. The motion prevails. The committee will request that LD 907 be carried over. One more carryover request. It's not on our schedule today. It's LD 1724, an act to create a logging dispute resolution board and to require proof of ownership documents to be available within 14 days of request. This didn't make it onto our schedule because we received it in our possession yesterday. And the bill sponsor, President Jackson, would like for us also to request that this bill be carried over. Is there a motion? Senator Mearmont.
Yes, I'd like to request this bill be carried over, please.
Senator Mearmont has requested that LD 1724 be carried over. Is there a second? It's been seconded by Representative Rader. Any discussion? Seeing none. Ms. Thompson, please call the roll.
Senator Hickman.
Yay.
Hickman, yay. Senator Guerin.
Yay.
Guerin, yay. Senator Mearmont.
Yay.
Mearmont, yay. Representative Sylvester.
Yay.
Sylvester, yay. Representative Bradstreet.
Yes.
Bradstreet, yes. Representative Cuddy.
Yes.
Cuddy, yes. Representative Drinkwater.
Nay.
Drinkwater, nay. Representative Gear is absent. Representative Morris. Morris, yes. Representative Pebworth.
Yes.
Pebworth, yes. Representative Prescott.
Yes.
Prescott, yes. Representative Rader.
Yes.
Rader, yes. And Representative Warren.
Yes.
Warren, yes. It is 11-1 with 1 absent.
The motion prevails. We will request that LD 1724 be carried over. The chair now lays before the committee an item tabled previously in the day. That is LD 1564. No members have had a chance to talk about this and caucus it, and the amendment, as we have said earlier, is not really new. The chair, there's a motion on that bill, which is ought to pass as amended, and I will recognize Representative Bradstreet.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, even notwithstanding the discussion that we've had and that some of the items have been looked at before, the business community has informed us that they haven't had a chance to look at this. So I'm going to request and make a motion that we table this.
I would say.
The motion is to table. That is a non-debatable motion. Ms. Thompson, please call the roll.
Senator Hickman.
Nay.
Hickman, nay. Senator Guerin.
Yes.
Guerin, yes. Senator Mearmont.
Nay.
Mearmont, nay. Representative Sylvester.
I'm sorry, what is the motion we're voting on?
To table 1564.
Please come back to me.
Sure. Representative Bradstreet.
Yes.
Bradstreet, yes. Representative Cuddy.
No.
Cuddy, no. Representative Drinkwater.
Yay.
Drinkwater, yay. Representative Gear is absent. Representative Morris.
Yes.
Morris, yes. Representative Pebworth.
No.
Pebworth, no. Representative Prescott.
Yes.
Prescott, yes. Representative Rader.
No.
Rader, no. Representative Warren.
Yes.
Warren, yes. And Representative Sylvester. Representative Sylvester. So as is, that is 6-5.
The motion prevails. The bill is tabled. It is 11:40. I do believe that we may have time to move in or out, as the committee's wish is, the budget line items from the change package. I see Mr. Isaac Gendris here, and I see Ms. Moore, I believe, Kimberly Smith, yes. So Mr. Langland, if we are able and ready to put up onto our screen the change package line items from the executive branch, that would be wonderful. And the chair recognizes Senator Guerin. In the meanwhile, do you have something else that you'd like to say, or is that from before?
No, I do not. Sorry.
Okay, so in front of us, we have an 8-page document. We have been presented this by the executive branch. So in front of us, I see Employment Security Services, item 0245. I'd entertain a motion from the committee to move this in or out of the budget. I don't see any hands up.
I should have one up, sorry.
Okay.
I move it in.
Senator Miramont has moved that item into the budget. Is there a second? I'll second the motion to move that into.
Second.
All in favor of moving that into the budget? I guess we could do a roll call because it can be very difficult to see hands with the changing screens around. So Ms. Thompson, please call the roll on that item.
Senator Hickman. Hickman, yay. Senator Guerin. Senator Guerin, absent. Senator Miramont.
Yay.
Miramont, yay. Representative Sylvester is absent. Representative Bradstreet.
Yes.
Bradstreet, yes. Representative Cuddy.
Yes.
Cuddy, yes. Representative Drinkwater.
Yay.
Drinkwater, yay. Representative Gear is absent. Representative Morris.
Yes.
Morris, yes. Representative Pebworth.
Yes.
Pebworth, yes. Representative Prescott.
Yes.
Prescott, yes. Representative Rader.
Yes.
Rader, yes. And Representative Warren.
Yes.
Warren, yes. Senator Guerin.
Yes.
Guerin, yes. Representative Sylvester, are you there?
He is not. So
He
that
is
would
not.
be unanimous of those present. You have 11 votes. 10, yes. Is that correct, Ms. Thompson?
11.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Langland, the next item, please. Thank you.
Would you like me to read it?
Sure.
So this is amending Part A to delete this initiative, which provides funding for the approved reorganization of one labor program specialist position to a business systems manager position.
Thank you. Is there a motion, Senator Miramont?
And move it in.
It's been moved. Is there a second? Seconded by Representative Warren. Ms. Thompson, please call the roll. Any discussion on the motion, I should say? Seeing none, Ms. Thompson, please call the roll.
Senator Hickman.
Yay.
Hickman, yay. Senator Guerin.
Yay.
Guerin, yay. Senator Miramont.
Yay.
Marymount, yay. Representative Sylvester is absent. Representative Bradstreet.
Yes.
Bradstreet, yes. Representative Cuddy.
Yes.
Cuddy, yes. Representative Drinkwater.
Yay.
Drinkwater, yay. Representative Gear is absent. Representative Morris.
Yes.
Morris, yes. Representative Pebworth.
Yes.
Pebworth, yes. Representative Prescott.
Yes.
Prescott, yes. Representative Rader.
Yes.
Rader, yes. And Representative Warren.
Yes.
Warren, yes. That is 11.
Thank you. Unanimous of those present. No need for any absentee votes. Moving right along. Mr. Longley.
Yeah, just a point of clarification. So when you say move in, you mean accept the proposal as written? Because this is obviously a deletion. I just wanted to be clear.
Yeah, yes, we're moving that
I knew
in.
what you meant, but I wanted to, state for the record.
Perfectly fine. I appreciate it very much. Clarity is most important. Next item, Mr. Langley.
So this one is adding to the budget, reduces funding due to an approved reorganization of 5 limited period accounting specialist positions to accounting associate 2 positions. The positions will end on June 10th of 2023. And it also continues 2 limited period secretary associate legal positions and 1 management analyst 2 position previously continued by Financial Order 1090 F1 through June 10th of 2023.
Chair recognizes Senator Marymount.
I move to bring these in, add them to the budget.
It's been moved. Is there a second? Seconded by Representative Warren. Any discussion of this motion, this item in the budget? Chair recognizes Representative Bradstreet.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I'd just like to maybe somebody from the department could refresh my memory of if these are, we did okay a lot of positions. Are these in place of those positions, or what the status is with those positions we previously funded?
Yes, we have Ms. Kimberly Smith here. Please introduce yourself.
Good afternoon. Good morning. I'm Kim Smith. I'm the Deputy Commissioner at the Department of Labor. The first initiative adjusts one that you had already approved. They were approved, as it says, as the accounting specialist, and after we created those, we downgraded them to a lower related position based on the work that we had to perform. So therefore, the cost of those positions is a little less than originally submitted. And then the second initiative continues 3 positions that were erroneously left out of the original request.
Is that good enough for you, Representative?
Yes, I'm not sure where I'll vote on this, but yes, I did get my question answered. Thank you.
Are there any other questions for the department or discussions on this motion? Seeing none, Ms. Thompson, please call the roll.
Senator Hickman.
Yay.
Hickman, yay. Senator Guerin.
Yes.
Guerin, yes. Senator Marymount.
Yay.
Marymount, yay. Representative Sylvester is absent. Representative Bradstreet.
No.
Bradstreet, no. Representative Cuddy.
Yes.
Cuddy, yes. Representative Drinkwater. You're muted, sir.
Nay.
Drinkwater, nay. Representative Gear is absent. Representative Morris.
No.
Morris, no. Representative Pebworth.
Yes.
Pebworth, yes. Representative Prescott.
No.
Prescott, no. Representative Rader.
Yes.
Rader, yes. And Representative Warren.
Yes.
Warren, yes.
Senator Guerin,
I'd like to change my vote to nay.
it has been changed.
Thank you.
Vote is now 7 in favor of the motion, 5 opposed. With 2 members are absent, correct? So I got it. 6 members in favor, 5 opposed, 2 members absent. Is that correct, Ms. Thompson?
That is correct, yes.
So 6-5 with 2 absent. Thank you. Next item in the budget, please.
So this establishes 16 limited period career center consultant positions through June 10th of 2023, and it's an addition. I think that this was the section that in their testimony, the department pointed out that the all other line is incorrect. So it reads 9,189, but I believe that they said that was only taking into account 1 position, and that the all other line should read $147,024. So I would welcome some clarification on if this is the correct place that they saw that error.
Can someone, the item in front of me says establishes 16 limited period career center consultant positions with a fiscal note of 1.2 million and 1.3 million in all other. Are we on the same line item?
Yeah, so what I was referring to was the number below the general fund.
Okay. Can someone from the department please clarify? The chair recognizes Representative Cuddy.
I was just going to ask if we could have someone from the department do that, because there was a higher number that they had spoken about.
Ms. Smith, are you here with us?
I am here. So yes, the 9,000 is the cost, the all other cost associated with one position. So because there are 16 positions requested here, the cost is 147,000.
Got it. Thank you. Chair recognizes Representative Cuddy. You are on mute, sir.
Well, it's almost noon and I made it. I would like to make a motion to approve this, I guess, as amended with the number that Director Smith just gave us.
It's been motion is to move this into a budget as amended. It's been seconded by Representative Warren. Any discussion amongst the committee on the motion or the line item in the budget? Seeing no discussion, Ms. Thompson, please call the roll.
Senator Hickman.
Yay.
Hickman, yay. Senator Guerin.
No.
Guerin, no. Senator Miramont.
Yay.
Miramont, yay. Representative Sylvester is absent. Representative Bradstreet.
No.
Bradstreet, no. Representative Cuddy.
Yes.
Cuddy, yes. Representative Drinkwater.
Nay.
Drinkwater, nay. Representative Gear is absent. Representative Morris.
No.
Morris, no. Representative Pebworth.
Yes.
Pebworth, yes. Representative Prescott.
No.
Prescott, no. Representative Rader.
Yes.
Rader, yes. And Representative Warren.
Yes.
Warren, yes. That is 6-5 with 2 absent.
Mr. Chair, I've got my video working again.
Thank you.
And I would vote yay.
You would vote yay. 7 members in favor, 5 opposed, and 1 absent. Moving right along. How many more items do we have, Mr. Langley? Just because, oops. If you could tell me, that'd be great.
About 4 more, yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, so this is the addition of funding to support the work of the racial, indigenous, and Maine tribal populations.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Senator Miramont.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move it in.
It's been
Add
moved.
to budget.
Representative Warren, is that a second? It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on this line item? Seeing none, Ms. Thompson, please call the roll.
Senator Hickman.
Yay.
Hickman, yay. Senator Guerin.
No.
Guerin, no. Senator Miramont.
Yay.
Miramont, yay. Representative Sylvester. Representative Bradstreet.
No.
Bradstreet, no. Representative Cuddy. Representative Cuddy. Representative Drinkwater.
Nay.
Drinkwater, nay. Representative Gear is absent. Representative Morris.
No.
Morris, no. Representative Pebworth.
I'm so happy to vote yes on this.
Pebworth, yes. Representative Prescott.
No.
Prescott, no. Representative Rader.
Yes.
Rader, yes. Representative Warren.
Yes.
Warren, yes. Representative Sylvester.
Yes.
Sylvester, yes. Representative Cuddy.
Yes.
Cuddy, yes. That is 7-5 with, I think, 1 absent.
Great. Chairman Sylvester, are you able to handle these last 3 votes? I have a bill up in another committee as we speak. If not, Senator Miramont seems to be.
My video is really suspect right now. If Senator Miramont could take it until I get back home, that would be great.
Thank you. I will see you all at 1 o'clock for our public hearing.
Okay. Thank you. Good luck. Okay, Mr. Langland, the next one, please.
Sure. So this is the addition in the regulation and enforcement, establishes 3 labor and safety inspector positions and 1 fraud investigator position, and increases all other for related staff expenses and for funding additional legal support from the Office of the Attorney General in order to ensure compliance with state labor laws and protections for Maine workers.
Thank you for that. Pleasure of the committee, Representative Warren.
To move this into the budget.
We have a motion to move in. Another second by Representative Pebworth. Please call the roll.
Senator Guerin.
No.
Guerin, no. Senator Miramont.
Yes.
Miramont, yes. Representative Sylvester.
Yes.
Sylvester, yes. Representative Bradstreet.
No.
Bradstreet, no. Representative Cuddy.
Yes.
Cuddy, yes. Representative Drinkwater.
Nay.
Drinkwater, nay. Representative Gear is absent. Representative Morris.
No.
Morris, no. Representative Pebworth.
Yes.
Pebworth, yes. Representative Prescott.
No.
Prescott, no. Representative Rader.
Yes.
Rader, yes. Representative Warren.
Yes.
Warren, yes. Senator Hickman, are you still there? Senator Hickman is absent, so that is 6-5 with 2 absent.
And the vote being 6-5, of those present, the motion passes, and we will move to the next one.
So this is amending Part A of the budget to delete these initiatives. So the first one is to reallocate the cost of 1 Public Service Manager 3 position from 50% general fund and 50% federal expenditures fund to 25% general fund and 75% federal expenditures fund and associated state cap within the same program. The second initiative on the page transfers 1 Senior Economic Research Analyst position and reallocates the cost from 90% general fund and 10% federal expenditures fund to 100% federal expenditures fund within the same program.
We like that. Okay, pleasure of the committee. Seeing no questions. And Representative Warren.
I'd move it into the budget.
It's been moved in, and any second? By Representative Cuddy, seconded. Discussion, unless it looks like it's Senator Guerin. You're muted, Senator.
Thank you. A question for our analyst. I was trying to read the chart and didn't get it all read. Was the entirety of this bill switching it to 100% of federal funding?
So what this is doing, it's amending the bill to delete these 2 initiatives. So in terms of what that actually does, I would defer to the department.
It's deleting the positions and putting them into federal funding, or just deleting the positions?
I would defer to Deputy Commissioner Smith.
And let's
So
see. There you are. Ms. Smith, could you answer that,
afternoon.
please?
Our original budget request was to shift the funding for these positions from the general fund into the federal expenditures fund to keep resources, to keep operating the program within available resources. As more resources are now available, we're deleting these initiatives because these programs are going to help us with our workforce efforts. These are positions that we need to be able to do analysis on industries, occupations, and things like that.
And they are being funded by the feds? Is that correct?
No, these would be general fund.
Okay.
So we had originally removed them from the general fund, and now we are keeping them as they were originally funded. So we're deleting the change.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay, I don't have any other questions. And could you call the roll, please?
Senator Hickman is absent. Senator Guerin.
No.
Guerin, no. Senator Miramont.
Yes.
Miramont, yes. Representative Sylvester is absent. Representative Bradstreet.
No.
Bradstreet, no. Representative Cuddy.
Yes.
Cuddy, yes. Representative Drinkwater.
Nay.
Drinkwater, nay. Representative Gear. Oh, she's absent. My bad. Representative Morris.
No.
Morris, no. Representative Pebworth.
Yes.
Pebworth, yes. Representative Prescott.
No.
Prescott, no. Representative Rader.
Yes.
Rader, yes. Representative Warren.
Yes.
Warren, yes. And Representative Sylvester.
Yes.
Sylvester, yes. That is 6-5 with 2 absent, sorry.
Okay, the vote of those present, 6-5, the motion passes. And the next one, Mr. Langman.
Sure. So this is an addition to the budget. This reallocates funding for one senior economic research analyst from 100% federal expenditures fund to 100% general fund in order to provide enhanced information on Maine's workforce.
Okay, thank you. And Representative Warren.
I'd like to move this into the budget.
It's been moved into the budget by Representative Warren and a second by Representative Pebworth. And discussion, Senator Guerin.
I'm sorry, my hand was up in error.
Thank you. I have no other hands. And so could you take the vote, please?
Senator Hickman is absent. Senator Guerin.
No.
Guerin, no. Senator Miramont.
Yes.
Miramont, yes. Representative Sylvester.
Yes.
Sylvester, yes. Representative Bradstreet.
No.
Bradstreet, no. Representative Cuddy.
Yes.
Cuddy, yes. Representative Drinkwater.
Nay.
Drinkwater, was that nay?
Yes. Nay.
Drinkwater, nay. Representative Gear is absent. Representative Morris.
No.
Morris, no. Representative Pebworth.
Yes.
Pebworth, yes. Representative Prescott is absent. Representative Rader.
Yes.
Rader, yes. And Representative Warren.
Yes.
Warren, yes.
It looks like 6-4.
That's what I was.
Yeah, with 3 absent, and the motion passes. And we had another one, didn't we?
Yeah, we have one more initiative. Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay, Mr. Langman, thank you.
So this one is actually a language piece. So this came to the committee when it was deliberating the language that was in the biennial budget, and the committee did take a vote on that report back. So what this part LLL does is it's amended from how it currently sits. So what it does is it clarifies the job classifications in the Department of Public Safety that are eligible to elect to participate in the 1998 special plan of the retirement system, and adds Assistant State Fire Marshal investigations to the list of eligible classifications. So under that plan, a person can retire at 55 years of age with 10 years of creditable service, or may retire before 55 years of age with 25 years of creditable service.
Thank you, Mr. Langland. The pleasure of the committee, Representative Warren.
I would want to move these into the budget.
Okay, there's been a motion to add this to the budget, and a second, please. And Representative Pebworth has seconded, and that was moved by Representative Warren. And Ms. Thompson, please take the vote.
Senator Hickman is.
And Senator Hickman is back. And if you're really back, I'll turn this back over to you.
It's perfectly fine. My vote is yay.
Okay.
Hickman, yay. Senator Guerin.
No.
Guerin, no. Senator Miramont.
Yay.
Miramont, yay. Representative Sylvester. Representative Sylvester.
Yay.
Sylvester, yay. Representative Bradstreet.
No.
Bradstreet, no. Representative Cuddy.
Yes.
Cuddy, yes. Representative Drinkwater.
Nay.
Drinkwater. Can you turn your camera on?
Nay.
Thank you. Drinkwater, nay. Representative Gear is absent. Representative Morris.
No.
Morris, no. Representative Pebworth.
Yes.
Pebworth, yes. Representative Prescott is absent. Representative Rader.
Yes.
Rader, yes, and Representative Warren.
Yes.
Warren, yes. That's 7-4 with 2 absent.
And that is the end of the initiatives.
Great. Thank you. And that sounds like we'll wrap for lunch, is what I understand. Unless there's any comments or business from the committee, we will reconvene at 1 o'clock for the public hearing. I see no hands. See you in a bit. Thanks a lot. Make sure you turn off your mic and camera.
Before people hop off, I just want to draw attention that we are switching to the other Zoom call. So make sure you have links, and if not, then reach out to me.
That's amazing. And I didn't want to hold up lunch, but did I hear that this is your last day, Ms. Thompson?
Yes, it is.
Oh, this is such sad news. I can't believe it. So, well, thank you. Thank you for keeping us straight here and your amazing work and everything else. And Senator, I'm glad you're back. We're just in time. We're adjourning for lunch and coming back at 1 o'clock.
With a new link.
With a new link, yes. So goodbye. You don't have to worry about mute.
Alyssa, can you resend that link?
Yeah, I'll send it out to all of you guys just to be safe.
Okay, thank you.
Not a problem.
You.
See you at 1.